Philadelphia's offensive struggles versus the Packers on Monday night was nothing new. Jalen Hurts and company look lost at times once again as the play calling continues to be a major issue. Yet the combination of DeVonta Smith released Saquon Barkley saved the day. All of Vic Fangio's defense flexed their muscles for all to see, including a debut from the Birds' newest addition, should have the entire NFL very afraid of what's about to come. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, much like every single Eagles game this season, except for 2 weeks ago versus the New York Giants, Philadelphia's Monday night matchup versus the Packers had plenty of good, a lot of bad, and still way too much ugly. As the Birds' defense led the way, while Kevin Patullo's offense had a great start and a great finish to the game, but both bookends some really bad offensive football. And yet, like the previous 6 wins, the Eagles once again found a way. Showcased a scary new reality for the rest of the NFL to go ahead and see. And so to celebrate Philadelphia's big win, how about the giveaway for the week? It is this Zach Baun signed Super Bowl picture courtesy of the Eagles Autism Foundation. If you want to win this bad boy on my show later on this week, drop a like on today's video and comment Baun somewhere down below right now. And of course, be subscribed. One of you guys is going to win this bad boy right here. Now, I can't be the only person whose first thought upon waking Tuesday morning was, what was Nick Sirianni's post-game excuse for his insane decision to go for it on that 4th and 6 late in the game? And well, here's what he said, and decide for yourself if the answer is sufficient enough.
We just didn't get it. But the decision, I stand put on that decision. Especially being up 3, because you go up 6, they're still going to need a touchdown, being a Hail Mary, everything like that. So we would have ended the game if we would have got that, and I got a lot of faith in our guys to be able to do that. But the reason I didn't kick the field goal again, being up 3, and also just this trajectory into the wind there on that particular one.
Nick Sirianni is right. Had they converted, the game's over. You don't give him a chance to go down and kick a field goal, but that made absolutely no sense in that situation to not just punt the football, down him inside the 10, and force Jordan Love, who struggled all night long, to go 70 yards instead of 25. They were 1 or 2 plays away from kicking a field goal to tie and maybe losing that game. I know it doesn't matter in the end, but I like Nick Sirianni's aggression most of the time. That was completely uncalled for, and I still cannot believe he chose to do that. Of course, Nick Sirianni's idiotic decision aside, the real positive and the really great news from Monday night's win was Philadelphia's defense, who pitched a shutout for nearly 3.5 quarters and had Jordan Love in hell literally all night long. Love was pressured on 17 of his 42 dropbacks, which accounted for the second highest pressure rate he's faced all 2025. Those pressures clearly worked, as Love finished just 3 for 12 for 21 yards when under duress. And the best part is, it wasn't just pressures. Philadelphia's gotten pressure at times a lot the past couple of games. They have not been able to get quarterbacks on the ground. They had 3 sacks last night. It could have really been 5 or 6. Overall, I am so relieved to see just how impressive the defensive line finally is starting to look. I mean, for example, how about shout out Jaelan Phillips, whose first half sack brought him to 5 on the year, all of which have come the past 3 weeks. For as slow as Hunt has been, really, to start the entire season, he's clearly coming into his own. It's only going to get better and more dangerous as the season progresses. However, can we just be honest for a second, though? The MVP of the entire game on both sides, including the scariest part of really Philadelphia's win, at least for the rest of the league, was the play of Jaelan Phillips. As shown perfectly here in Brian Baldinger's Twitter breakdown this morning, Jaelan Phillips was the best player on the field, and it really wasn't close.
It took 3 plays last night to hear Jaelan Phillips have his name called. He was everywhere. And he was the single best defensive player on the field last night. Watch this long arm stab and the power right here. Collapse in the pocket where Jordan Love has no choice but to backtrack right into the weight and arms of Jalen's Hunt. That's how teamwork does it. One guy feeds another player. Now, you watch him here and disengage, take down Josh Jacobs, okay? All right, well done. Now, I just like the violence that he played with. Man, disengagement. It's like Monday Night Raw. Just take Wilson right down to the ground.
For a guy who's been an Eagle for, less than a week, Phillips not only had the most edge snaps of any pass rusher on the field, that was nuts, he also recorded his highest pressure rate since Week 18 of the 2022 season. He also led the Eagles with 6 tackles against the run, had the fumble recovery, the force out. I mean, gosh, he was just so good.
I just felt super grateful. It was the first time in a while that I've gotten a little emotional before a game. Just, obviously this stage and, coming here is my first time at Lambeau, walking out through that tunnel. It doesn't get better than that. So, yeah, I'm definitely grateful. Felt amazing energy from the guys. It was just an air of confidence. And everybody played together. We had a great game, honestly. It was super gritty. So, yeah, I'm just grateful to be here for sure. I'm just glad I can come in and help the team. My biggest thing coming in, no ego and just wanted to earn the respect of my teammates and my coaches and the fans and everybody. And, you know, all I can really do on my end is obviously do my job and you know my plays and everything like that, but just play with fanatical effort. And that's what I do, play in and play out. So obviously it's great to be able to get some production and make big plays for the team. Like what better stage to do it on? So definitely super grateful.
Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Groons, because they have something brand new just in time for the holidays. Now, of course, by now, you guys know I've been taking Groons, these bad boys right here, every single day for, the better part of 6 months now, because it's not just a multivitamin, it's not just a greens powder, not just a prebiotic, it's all that more packed into one simple pack of gummies every single day. But this holiday season, Groons just dropped their limited edition Grinch Punch flavor, which honestly, is a hilarious name and actually has the little Grinch face on the actual gummies, great there, but also a festive and very delicious berry punch flavor. And of course, the same full body benefits, but with the flavor of Christmas in every bite. Oh, and also, they're gonna sell out really fast, so don't wait. The best part though is that the formula, it's still the same, it's still unmatched, 20 plus vitamins and minerals, 6 times more gut health ingredients than the leading greens powders. It has biotin, niacinamide, stronger hair, skin and nails, and functional mushrooms. I love that part for the brain and gut support. And as usual, you get a pack like this, which has the daily packets that I showed you a little earlier, and these are so great for on the go. Like, as you guys know, my wife and I, we just had our first baby, and so I was packing up, my hospital bag to go sleep at the hospital for a couple of days. You can just grab a couple of these, throw them in the bag, and then every single morning, take your Groons. And literally, right now, Groons is having their best sale of the entire year, and these bad boys are going to sell out very quickly. Anytime they drop a limited edition, they go extremely fast. So check them out. Link down below in my description box. Scan the QR code. Try Groons. You can just try them for a month. I think you're going to love them because I certainly do. It looks like Howie Roseman completely hit a home run at this trade deadline move. Time will tell. He could tank the next couple of weeks, but I think overall, Howie absolutely nailed it. Vic Fangio clearly loves Jaelan Phillips, clearly trusts him, gave him all those snaps as well, and you see the result. The most pressures the Eagles have had really all season long, up there with the most sacks that they've had. The run stopping too, a completely forgotten aspect of him. My gosh, I cannot get over how impressive he was. He seems to be the missing piece, and Vic Fangio's already very dominant defense.
Obviously, you guys saw it. It felt like he was very disruptive. Like I said, the rush was active and all game from all parts. We did a good job of rushing as a unit. At fourth down play, I think signifies the kind of physicality that the man has. And I think about his week of practice and how he goes about his business. Man, he loves football. He loves working. And you could just see it the way he was running around at practice. His motor is constantly running. With wash all the time, just pushing to get better. So obviously it was a really big impact that he made tonight.
Man, it just showed that we all together, we all working as one. And, even though we got some new guys who came out here and ball out, Jalen and et cetera, it's all about trust. And, this whole week we've been telling them we trust them. When we get out there, we all is one. It's not just you out there. He came out, he showed I got the fumble, got some pressures, and he had a hell of a game.
Man, it feels good, man. We just all working together as a group to affect the quarterback, and that's one thing that he did today, and a lot of us did, trying to affect the quarterback and just get to him.
And yet that's not all. Shout out Nolan Smith and BG for also looking solid in a very limited amount of playing time. Combined, they only had 26 total snaps. The fact that both BG and number 3 could actually make an impact on such a light load, once again, a great sign. And this is kind of the floor for a guy like BG. We expect a lot more from him as he gets his sea legs back underneath him the next couple of weeks.
The first week felt like what you just said, but now I feel like I'm in my groove of I've been just doing a lot of extra, and now today I didn't expect me to go out and play much at all. It's just more just getting out there, getting that adrenaline going a little bit, and then as we just keep building, because we in it for the long haul.
Vic and Howie Roseman clearly in the end realized the past couple of weeks that when you actually disrupt the passer, everybody behind the defensive line also plays better. For example, how about Nakobe Dean's team-high 6 solo tackles and this extremely clutch strip sack? Or even Adoree Jackson, who allowed just 4 catches on a very minuscule 23 total yards. The real truth of Monday night's win is that for as bad as the offense was, and we will talk about that, that was championship caliber defense. That was the defense we saw the entire playoff stretch that Philadelphia showcased on Monday night. If they keep doing that, they're going to keep winning a ton of games. And trust me, the offense knows they got to pick things up, as we'll see, and they were very grateful post-game for the defense picking up the slack.
I would just want to say thank you to thank you to all my defensive players. You guys were the MVP.
MVPs of today. I'm sorry, I was talking to the wrong camera. I just looked at the one with lights. I guess I'm like a fly. I'm just attracted to the light.
You got the right one now.
So, yes, thank you to our defense. You guys balled out today.
Defense played lights out. Lights out. I mean, won the situational battle. Showed up in the end of the game when we could have avoided putting them in that position. But, I feel like when there was a mishap, we had each other's backs. And that's all you can ask for. And so,
Still, had the offense actually done their job, even remotely better than it was on Monday night, this game would not have been close. It would have been a complete blowout. And obviously, that's going to be the main talking point for most talking heads the next couple of days, and maybe the next couple of months. Until Philadelphia stops having these seesaw-type games where it's feast or famine on offense, every single Monday we're going to keep asking the same question: why can't this unit figure things out? I mean, that opening drive by the Birds was literally perfect. It showed exactly what the offense is capable of and should be doing. Had it not been for the unlucky Hurts fumble, they immediately jump out to a 7-0 lead, or at worst, a 3-0 lead, in what could have been a 20-plus play opening drive. But then, again, the rest of the night, penalties, negative plays, and also extremely conservative offensive play calls reared their ugly head once again, resulting in, at one point, stop me if you heard this before, 5 straight punts to close out the first half.
we just got to go out there and play at a high level more consistently. And, I think this game was a perfect example of what it could be when we take advantage of our opportunities, and then when we don't control the things that we can, how they can hinder us. And so talk about the false starts, talking about the things that take no talent, being on the same page, having particulars in what we're doing, and being aligned in when we do it.
Make no mistake about it. Like, every one of us is determined to get better and continuing to rise. And so I love that they feel that way. We feel that way. But we're going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this because I know how I feel if I'm in the other end of it.
At one point, I thought the game might end 3-0. I started thinking, have I ever been part of a game that ended 3-0? But that's what it takes, man. There's going to be times where, it's going to take us on offense to put 30 and 40 points up. And, if they don't score touchdowns, it's hard to lose a football game. So.
And I've said this every single week when reacting to games the day after on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning. It's hard watching the game to know exactly what's wrong with the offense in that particular game. Was it Jalen Hurts missing open receivers? Was it Kevin Patullo's poor play calling? Were receivers not open? Was it a great Packer defense blocking up front? Maybe all the above, I don't know. But the fact that we are 10 weeks into the NFL season, fresh off of a bye week where they were saying, oh my gosh, we fixed so many things, we worked on this and that, and it still looks that bad, just starting to wonder if this is what you're going to have the rest of the season. It's hard to believe, but this might be the Eagle offense under Kevin Patullo, and it's not good, but I guess at least they won. Still, being positive for a second, despite the fact they struggled, they did find a way to win, as I just said. DeVonta Smith, for example, continued to be the best receiver on the field, going up and making a play for what eventually was the game-winning touchdown. Gosh, he keeps being so incredible.
I think he's as dynamic as it gets. He showed up and made some big-time plays today. And that's what he's been doing all year. And so, definitely don't win this game without him making the plays that he made.
Likewise, more good news, at least a little bit here, for the other receiver was that despite another laughably low target night for A.J. Brown, I'm not sure why they keep doing this to him, but he at least still seemed pretty darn interested the entire game. Had a nice block to spring Saquon Barkley, and then, of course, an attempt to seal the game on the final deep ball on 4th down. Oh, and post-game, if you're wondering if he had any sort of, pouting or a tweet or anything like that, nope, he was upbeat, he was cheerful, and said really all the right things when asked about what it's like to be frustrated in a game like this.
I wouldn't say it's about being happy or frustrated or anything. I think it's me just coming to work with the mindset of just getting better, and that's what we have to do. I don't know if it goes unnoticed, but that's a part of my job. So I got to block. And I think I don't. That's not really like something I should be highlighted for. I think that's something Saquon should be, because he made the guy miss and he went down the sideline. So.
I still think my biggest problem overall continues to be, at least with the offense, the scared play calling from Kevin Patullo week after week after week. They're playing not to lose instead of trying to dominate their opponents. What's worse is we just saw it the previous 2 games, Vikings and Giants, when you actually put your foot on the gas, whenever you let Jalen Hurts throw, this can be a very explosive offense. I get not wanting to turn the football over, but they hardly do that anyway. Just unleash Jalen Hurts, and clearly you're going to have success. But for whatever reason, Kevin Patullo continues to choose not to do that. I mean, am I crazy to think that Jalen Hurts is saying the exact same thing I'm saying here, at least last night during his press conference, that they have got to be more aggressive?
Regardless of whatever's going on, you got to keep shooting. You got to keep going. You got to keep attacking, and you have to trust within the unit that this is what we're going to do and going to have confidence in that. We got Saquon playing fullback on the play. That's something we've never done before. You may say, well, what's going on? It's like, well, you trust it in the heat of the moment, you're going to make it happen. And so, you have to have an aggressive mindset. You have to have an aggressive mindset. That having an aggressive mindset always minimizes mistakes in the end. So if you can control what you can with that, have the right tenacity with that focus, and more times than not, you like to see that you hit them.
In the end, though, the mindset was evident from everyone after the game. A win is a win is a win, and beating a very good Packer team to get your 7th win and just vault even further to the top of the NFC, it's not a bad thing, and we at least have to acknowledge that before you end today's show. Philadelphia now has road wins at Arrowhead, at Tampa, at Lambeau Field, with impressive wins on the road against the Vikings and at home against the Rams. That win alone last night gives the Eagles the highest % chance to claim the #1 overall seed as it stands today, and the likelihood that will only go up if they can actually beat the Lions this coming Sunday night. I think overall, this game was a very clear reminder of what Philadelphia did late in the season in 2024. Think back to that Week 14 road win against the Ravens where the offense struggled but got bailed out in the end by the defense. Or even how about the wild card win versus the Packers, a couple of months ago? The offense, again, struggled to score points, struggled to move the football. We forget that, but it was the defense that held up their bargain on the other side of the field and eventually vaulted the Eagles to the next round of the playoffs. And maybe that's who Philadelphia is going to be the rest of the way. Maybe that's the 2025 Eagles. They're a great defensive team who is extremely flashy on offense at times and extremely bad at offense at other times. And if that's the case, can they win a Super Bowl? I think so. Is it going to be as easy as it was last year? Absolutely not, especially in the NFC. But I do think they have the tools. And that's what's going to give us hope the entire rest of the way this year. The defense, we know is great. Jaelan Phillips, we know he's going to be a superstar. But if the offense can just figure things out, and they still have 18 weeks to do so, or 8 weeks to do so, they're going to be a very good football team, and they're going to win a lot of games. This Sunday, though, at least Sunday night versus the Detroit Lions, going to be a super difficult test and a game where you are not going to be able to score just 10 points and win because the Lion offense is so good. So I guess we'll sit back and wait and see. We're also going to sit back and wait and see what they do with Ja'Cory Bennett and Jaire Alexander the next couple of days. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's show. They literally decided to not even fly Jaire Alexander out there. Ja'Cory Bennett wasn't activated. That was odd, but we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show. Either way, a win's a win, and we keep saying that every single week, and yet they're 7-2 in the #1 seed. So we got to be a little bit positive here on a Monday. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out. Hope you guys had a fun night last night on the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. Get in on the Zach Baun giveaway, and stay tuned for plenty of more shows the next couple of days. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.